Ladies, gentlemen, welcome back. And in today's video, we're going to look at probably the most confusing part of CB. Especially if you're a new player and you zoom out and you see the open world and you want to go gathering, but you have no idea what you're meant to gather, well, not what you're meant to gather, but what's good to gather, what you do with it, what other people do with it, can you sell it, that sort of thing. And what's a good resource, like in terms of exchange for bronze, for silver, what's good stuff to farm. So this is sort of how to kind of get into doing outside world content, what to look for, that sort of thing. So I hope you enjoy, and this may be a long one. So first thing we're going to look at are all these nodes here. These are cities, villages, and forts. Houses do territory wars to control these, and then they get control over the resource in the particular outlined area of the city. So Yazzie here, for example, whoever owns Yazzie owns this marble quarry, and they can choose the price, the tariff that people pay, and yeah. So it's gonna, obviously, this is how much it's got left in there. So it's still relatively full, but it's costing 5,000 bronze per use. You only get one use, but then you can use requisition orders that we are going to get into in a second. Essentially, that's too expensive. In my opinion, you shouldn't be paying more than maybe 3,500, 4,000 maximum to use this. If we come over to where my house currently has a node, it's only green. So again, I think it's the 1,000 per thing. So, and I get 3 yields of it without using a requisition order. That's great. So yeah, so you getting uncommon stuff is not bad. We can take that to the resource guy that we'll again get into in a minute. But the main thing you want to be doing is first off looking around and looking for things that are decent value. So we're looking at this cotton, that's 4,000, no way. 4,000, no way. Let's have a look at this cotton field, 4,500, potentially, could be okay. Could be okay. We're looking around. Marble, no, we've been to that one. Then you got the epics that normally are set really high and normally are out of resource, but this has 17 minutes till it refreshes, so that might be worth running on down there and grabbing that. So yeah, so basically this is the first thing you want to be looking at. See what's viable, what's what's looking good to purchase, to go and farm. Secondly, we're going to get into the units you want to take. So here we are. These are my farming serfs, and you'll notice they're all level 7. And the only reason why we get these to 7 is because in the veterancy line here, you go increased collection of resources by 20, and then you increase the number of units by another 4, decrease food consumption, that's great, another 4 units, increase resource collection, and that's all you need. Level 7, done. And I've got a full stack of these, and then I've got unlucky in the past and just used my labor and food consumption for these guys across the board. So they any ones that I get, I just lob in there, and they keeps them, well, not hungry, and keeps them doing good work for me. So that's my farming team. So next we're going to have a look at refining. So what you do here is you're going to go out, collect your resources. You may want to research what you want to make beforehand. Normally you're going to be looking at stuff that you're going to use to make artillery. In my case, that's what I like to do. So I'd go to the gunsmith who's over here, and basically we're going to see what he would have. So in your own, if your house has a fief, a city or something like that, you will have another section to this that will be up here, that will be blue, and then another one that will be epic. So obviously the better artillery you want to make, the better resources it's gonna cost. So keep that in mind. But for this purposes, we're in Conqueror City right now, and we'll just go with what they've got here. Just imagine it's an amazing bit of artillery. So these resources, so let's say take seasoned wood, for example. We're going to go here. We're taking seasoned wood, and we go to the resource guy. I'm going to have a look what seasoned wood I need to make seasoned wood. So with seasoned wood, you can go for obviously 4 different nodes. You can go for a grey, a green, a blue, or a epic. And the more the rarity, the less of it uses. That, you know, in the price of bronze, sometimes it's just better to go for the green one, because what, 6 per one and 8 per one, so it doesn't really matter a huge amount. It's more the exotic resources you get from the higher tier nodes, the purple nodes, sort of things. That is what people are looking for from those higher ones. And then what you would do with that is you would go, okay, I want to make. So we needed 50. So let's say you make 50. It's going to cost me 100 silver, and then we craft. And you can leave this. I can do this and leave, and then eventually the job will be done, like that. And it will get loaded into my wagon, and there we have our 50 seasoned wood. And so you'd want to do quite a large amount, and then you'd come back to the gunsmith, and then you'd make your artillery, and you'd have to do that with obviously all the resources. That takes 200 raw iron, but you kind of get the thing. So that would be exactly the same scenario with a higher bit of artillery. And then if we move over unit kits, as I said, are not. I don't really go by it because I think it's just easier to use bronze. But let's take a look. So again, these are all blues. This costs absolutely no bronze. So it would cost you more in silver to make these than it would just to use bronze. You would to farm these and to go and then refine them and then make them into 50 silver per unit kit. Just don't bother. Unless it's a legendary, don't bother making unit kits. Just use your bronze like this. Go, okay, no, that's legendary. If we go like here, just use your bronze to fix up anything like that. Legendaries are probably the only ones I'd say potentially. Once they get really low, they can cost an absolute fortune. But again, still not that much. It's going to cost you that much to even farm. So that one's kind of up to you. But I would stay away from unit kits. I'd use the outside world for artillery, 100%, to really stack yourself up on good artillery. And doing that, you're going to have to make sure you're in a decent house. So like here, this is only level 1, and we can make blue artillery here. So yeah, that's kind of what you want to aim for. Now let's go out into the open world, and we'll go and farm some stuff, and we'll have a discussion about it. So here we have my farmers, my farming guys, my serfs, all stacked up and ready to go. We've got a full stack, and yes, in the open world you can stack multiple of the same peasant units, so that's always good. And if we look here, this is what you're after is labor, and that is 64 labor. That is very, very good. Food exhaustion takes 6 minutes, so I've got a bit of travel time before they get too hungry. So let's get out and get farming. So I think we're going to make our way over to this one here. It's got 10 minutes left. That's exhausted. That's exhausted. Again, we're going to want to have a look at the prices. That's already completely gone. That's gone. That's got 10 minutes. Okay, we'll head to this one. Head to the cowhide tannery. Now, while you're in sort of safe zones, you don't really use any of your supply lines, so you can start to force march with no penalty. That means you basically half your food, but you move a lot faster. And so if you're in a safe zone, you won't use your food because it just doesn't go down. So you can actually just get a bit of a speed boost there. I wouldn't advise using it on long journeys because it won't benefit you from a distance point of view, but a speed point of view it will. So now we're just going to wait for this to come off cooldown. We've got 8 minutes, so I'll see you when it's off cooldown. But just before I go, I want to say food-wise, if you run out of food, you don't lose everything. I thought when I was a new player that I would lose everything if I ran out of food. You don't. Just a side note. So if we look at the cowhide tannery that we are waiting for it to come back, we have 3 minutes until it comes back. You've got the actual cowhide here. That is what we are going to... Well, obviously you can use to refine into... take it to the refinery and get other products out. And then you got sinews. This is the exotics that I was talking about. And the sinews, the furs, and the mountain wolf furs are the things that will actually make you the money. And it's needed with the higher refining crafts. So in terms of like if we're making some epic artillery, the resource that it will take to make one of like the iron bars, let's say, might have a exotic resource involved in that. So that's why these are so important to collect. Looks like we've been joined by a few other here. Oh wow, we are really... This is going to be a fight for resources. So if you look here, the requisition tariff is 2,000. That means every time we use a requisition order, it's going to cost us 2,000. And the normal tariff will cost us 6,000. That means our normal one-day yield will cost us 6,000, and the requisition will cost us 2. Oh, we're really filling up here. Here we go. We have 1 minute to go. Okay, 3 seconds to go, and we're farming. And we're off. We're going to gather straight away. So we're coming out straight away with the goat hide. Oh, it got demoted to a green, to a blue even. That's fine. That's fine. We're still getting the mountain fur. That's good. The cost is less. We're gathering its scan. This stuff gets automatically put in your wagon that will appear behind you. And now we're just using the requisition orders to keep gathering. But the main thing we're looking for is these 3 things here. This will always... Goat hide will always be there. Yeah. Did not expect this one to get downranked, but it's been downranked. That's absolutely fine. And you'll see we're getting experience for your collection. So that will be where you use in your tech tree. Another thing you can hope for from here is... It doesn't matter about this, just ignore this for now. While you've got competition, just keep farming. Okay, now we have depleted the reserves. It's got nothing left. I can't gather any more from it, and this is all the stuff we've got. And now we're going to have to move this bit by bit, so you're going to click move. We're going to take all the important stuff first that we have got, and that'll be a full wagon worth. Let's just check. Yep, so we've filled to the brim. We're very slow, but luckily we don't have to go far to take it back, so we're going to go Conqueror City. We're going to force march because we're so close that it doesn't really matter. And if you look, there is our little trailer behind. Well, not little, this is the biggest one. So when it turns to this one with the little guy in there, that means you're at your basically maximum. And we're going to take this up and we're going to unload it straight into our supply and go back and pick up the rest of our goods. So we go supply dump, you go to wagon, and you go move all. And that just pops it straight into your supply dump. And then we're going to head back to the node here. So this can get kind of annoying if you think about it whenever you're miles away from a base, especially your home base. But I'll discuss in a minute the annoyances with my kind of a personal opinion on the outside world and how it functions in this game. So when we get back to here, we want to go to our resource pile, and then we're going to grab some more stuff. So we'll grab all of that, and then we'll put as much of that in as we can. And we got 3,000 left in here. That's kind of annoying because I've got to come back for that. Well, I don't have to. I can leave it in there and it'll just disappear after a while. But I think we'll do. I think we'll just leave it. We have enough. That's fine. Any others around that are coming up for thing? Probably not. But we'll take this off and we'll put this through the refiner and make it into something. So the next thing we'll look at is the technology tree. Now, this is a lot of thing that goes like overlooked quite a lot, but essentially every time you collect from a node, you get experience, and this experience you can put into a sort of specialization into a certain resource. Now, I wouldn't advise to do what I did here because I didn't know very much, and every time I sort of got a level, I just place it somewhere. So I've ended up going quite far down here, and then I'm here, where it's probably better just to get yourself to the extra 100% exotic resources that we'll see when I get this node done. You'll see we'll get exotic resources, and what you're looking to get, you really want to bump this up to be as high as possible because they're where the money's made. But essentially what I would say you want to do is probably go down, well, whatever one you've farmed the most, head down that and get to the end of it, then do the next one. Requisition orders, just so we know what they are. You get them from daily sign-ins, daily quests. They appear on the battle pass quite a lot, so you'll get them very regularly, and so don't be donating them or anything like that. Just hold on to them. I've managed to hold on to 742 of them, so basically we'll never run out. Just keep getting them, and if maybe you don't farm for a few weeks, you'll just end up saving up a lot of them, and then you'll never really need to worry, because I'm not going to go through 742 of these in one session. So yeah, that's how you get those. Another thing people like to do quite a lot with their resources is use them to do their thief quests, or sell the products to people doing their thief quests. So if let's say I need this here, I can click this little search market, and you can buy it from someone off there. So that's sort of another way of making a bit of silver, and using the resources from outside. Basically converting bronze into silver is what you're doing there. Right, so we're going to take our goat skin and we're going to take it to the refinery. Let's see what we can make. So goat skin here. This will make tanned leather, and also, well, it makes a version of tanned leather. But if we come into the create rare materials, and we go to the leather, we got the goat thing, but also you need shekel. And this obviously is required from doing timber. Now, so what you would do is you would look for a timber place, and it only has to be green. It's not a problem. It doesn't have to be blue or anything like that, or epic. So we'll look for timber. We got some timber here. So that's costing 4,000 for one. It's a little bit too expensive. So you keep looking. What's up here? Let's have a look. 6,000, way too expensive up here. There you go. That's what we're looking for. So 2,500. You could probably go with that. You could go up there, do a few, take some from there. And what that should have is that'll have shekels on there. That means you can then make, with your goat skin and your shekels, that there's the rare exotic material that you get from there. That means you'll be able to make your tanned, your rare tanned leather. So if you look here, it doesn't matter about the actual main thing. It can be grey, it can be green, it can be blue, and it can be purple. The big resource is the exotics, and that's the same all along. So the sinews we got from that place. So you remember we were getting furs and sinews, and so these sinews are going to be used to make wood. So what we would do here is we'd go, okay, I want 50 of those. We'll get 50 of this plain wood. And then what else? Shekels. So shekels seem to be used with stone cutting and in treated leather. So they're obviously quite highly sought after. And then we've got obviously tin, it's a good one, and yeah, and sort of flax and stuff like that. So this is the stuff that you'll be using to make rare artillery. That's the blue artillery. And then obviously you get into one higher where there's the next resource that is actually now getting very unique, and it's unique to certain zones. So if we were going to make, let's go back to, like, this is boiled leather. So this is where the mountain fur that we were getting comes in. You see how it goes around. I've gone there and I've got mountain fur, and I've got I went and got sinews, and sinews are for obviously the wood here. The mounted fur is for the wolf fur, is for the mountain wolf fur is for the boiled leather for this one. And then I'm sure if we come down here, there'll be something that sinews do for this one. Wherever it is. Any sinews needed? Yeah, there you go. So if we go for finished leather, sinews get used in this. And then it's bison hides that come from a different region. When I say a different region, I mean we're in this region. So mountain fur comes from mountain wolf fur comes from this region, and these guys over here won't be able to get it, but they'll have bison that we won't be able to get. So that's where the trade routes through the world come from. I know it's really complicated, and it seems like a lot of effort for a little thing, and you'd be damn right. You'd be damn right. So now we're going to get on to the bit where I complain about it. As much as I'm trying to give a guide, personally, I think the whole outside world thing needs a little bit of a rework. Maybe not even a little one, maybe a large one. Because my main thing in games is, obviously I'm loving doing sieges and that sort of thing. Love this game to pieces. But I would like to, every now and then, I like to go out and do some farming. And I want like farming to be enjoyable and sort of, you know, you don't have to think too much. You look where you want to go, you're looking around maybe, and you find a node. And then you mine the node, or gather the node, or whatever. It's just a nice little pastime. Where when it comes to CB and farming, you have to go let's take it, we're going to have a look around the entire world. Okay, then you have to slowly travel, that's fine, don't mind traveling. But then you have to pay the most ridiculous amount of bronze for stuff that doesn't make any sense. It totally ruins, like, the making of unit kits, because they're pointless, in my opinion. Completely pointless. And I'd love them not to be pointless, that you go out, you make a load of unit kits for your favourite unit. I would like them to still be able to use bronze to fix stuff, but make it worth your while to do it, in terms of... so the bronze cost, it's cheaper to go out and farm unit kits than it is to use... just use your bronze to fix them, to give them unit kits. So little gripe with that, and then I think it just gets ridiculous with how much houses charge for certain things. So my design here would be to change it so instead of them being able to charge you 9,000 for some goat skin, they will take up to a capped percentage of your farmed goods. So let's say you farm 1,000 goat skin, they can set it to they take 20%, so they get 200 goat skin from your farm, and then that goes into a house bank, and then they can use that material in the house bank to go and craft their own artillery without actually needing to go outside and farm, if that makes sense. So everyone else that isn't in the house or wants to farm is basically saving them time by farming for them. They're taking a percentage, and bronze is left out of the equation. Maybe a lot of people would have a problem with that, house leaders, you know, that sort of thing. But I think when it comes to a lot of this, it's so unobtainable. yeah, 10,000 doesn't sound much, but when you do it 50 times, yeah, you know, you're suddenly doing the ridiculous amount of bronze, and it's not worth it. 30,000 bronze to use the stable. Granted, stables are slightly a different kettle of fish, but it's still too much. I think it should just take a percentage and give it to the house. But anyway, that's just my 2 cents on the open world. But I did want to just make a video kind of with the basics and why you'd want to do it and why thing. But basically, why you'd want to do it is purely for your own enjoyment. Otherwise, it's got no function. I think the only function I can really put to it is making artillery. For example, when the seal system comes out, when we have a new season, what I like to do is I like to go out and go and farm as much as I can, come to this guy here, and make myself a ridiculous amount of Scorpios. And the only reason I do that is because we're against blue units and they burn to everything. And this just gives me artillery, cheap artillery that I can put down every single game that I don't care about, that will actually inflict a decent amount of damage. But past the first 2 weeks of having blue units, it just gets very complicated and very hard to sort of even bring up the energy to do it. But saying that, there is 1 or 2 good things you can get. That would be when you go to a node like a timber node or whatever, you can get things like amber. Okay, so amber, they can just randomly drop from nodes. That's really nice. You can get emerald, I think, as well. You can get musk. That is, again, and the reason why you want this stuff is because it donates to the Fame store really nicely. So you go to the Fame store and you can donate amber, musk, and that there, and it donates for 1,000 points. So it's quite worth it if you go out and you actually do get some amber, musk, emerald, and something else. I can't remember what the other one is. But yeah, so you would come to the Fame store and you'd go donate, and then you go to your wagon and you'd move it across and you'd use that to donate. So that's it. It's been a kind of, for the outside world, this has been kind of a quick guide, but hopefully it'll just give you the little bit of fundamentals, an idea of kind of what's going on. To be honest, I've been playing for a long time now and I still struggle with the outside world. That's why I just had the little bit of a rant about it just earlier. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.